خلقه كما يحبه ويرضاه. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاه. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. First of all, we give our praise and our thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the favors and bounties Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on us. And we send salat and salam on his last and final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In our last session, we completed the incidents that took place in the second year after Hijrah. So 2 years have passed since the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have been living in Medina. And we mentioned all the different incidents that took place. So inshallah, from tonight we'll start with the third year after Hijrah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. In Muharram of the third year after Hijrah, which is the first month in the Islamic calendar, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he learned that the Banu Tha'laba and Banu Maharib were gathering at a place called Ghatafan. They were gathering at a place called Najd. But these two tribes, they were from amongst the Ghatafan tribe. And they were gathering at Najd in order to attack the Muslims. So when the Prophet ﷺ, he learned that this army is gathering and they are having their weapons and they are ready to attack, the Prophet ﷺ, he left Medina with 450 companions to stop them. And when the horde, the tribes of Banu Tha'laba and Banu Maharib, they got news that the Prophet ﷺ is heading with his army to Najd to stop them from attacking the Muslims, they dispersed and they fled. So when the Prophet ﷺ, he reached at Najd, there were no one there. Everybody had already left. The companions, they went around searching to see if there's anyone hiding, and they found only one man. And they brought him to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ gave him da'wah, and he accepted Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, he did not leave Najd immediately. He stayed the remaining of Muharram in Najd. He stayed the entire month of Safar in Najd. And then at the beginning of Rabi al-Awwal, the Prophet ﷺ, he left Najd, returning back to Medina. So he waited there to see if the army is going to come back to attack. So he waited along that long period of time, waiting to see, and nobody came to fight, nobody came to attack. So the Prophet ﷺ, he returned to Medina. In Rabi al-Awwal, whilst returning, the rain started to fall. And the Prophet ﷺ, he was soaked, as well as the companions were soaked. So they stopped by a tree in order to get some shade. And the Bedouins who were living around there in that area, they said, which one of us is brave enough to go and kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? We have him at a place, at our advantage, it is very easy for somebody to go now and kill him. And Da'thur, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was not a Muslim as yet. He said, I'm ready to do that. I'm going to go and kill him. He took his sword and he headed towards the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He reached in front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he pointed the sword at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he says, "May yamna'uka minni," who will save you from me? When he said that, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah will save me from you. And Jibreel alayhi salam came, and Jibreel alayhi salam hit him in the chest. And when he was hit in the chest, the sword fell to the ground. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam picked up the sword and said the same thing to him, "Ma yamna'uka minni," who is going to save you from me now? And he said, the one who's holding the sword. The only one who can stop you from killing me is you, because you have the full advantage now. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave him dawah and he accepted Islam. The individual, he became a Muslim, And he went back to his tribe and he started to give dawah to them. When he returned to them, they asked him what happened. And he informed them of the entire incident of the hit he got in the chest. And he said, definitely that has to be an angel who hit me in my chest and made the sword fell. And he started to invite them towards Islam. Now there's a very similar incident that took place during the Battle of Khaybar. Very similar, but there are two different incidents. This one was the incident with Da'thur, even though the dialogue is very similar to the dialogue in this one. But in that one, the individual did not accept Islam. And in that incident in Khaybar as well, the sword was the sword of the Prophet ﷺ. He had hung the sword on the tree and he was taking a nap under the tree. And then the unbeliever came, took all the sword of the Prophet ﷺ and pointed at him. So it was two different incidents. As well as the incident at Khaybar, there were no mention of an angel hitting the individual in the chest. All that is mentioned in that incident is that when the Prophet ﷺ says, Allah is going to save me from you, he just started to tremble and the sword fell from his hands. So these were different, the two different incidents, even though you might hear the dialogue looking very similar, but there was two different times that it occurred. The Prophet ﷺ, he returned back to Medina and he remained for the remaining of Rabi al-Awwal in Medina. And at the time, the next month, which is Rabi al-Thani, the Prophet ﷺ, he got news again that the Banu Sulaim now, they were gathering at a place called Buhran. They were gathering there again to attack. So the Prophet ﷺ, again, in order to protect Medina, protect the people, the Prophet ﷺ left with 300 companions. And they went, and when they left, the Prophet ﷺ allowed Ibn Maktoum anhu to be the Amir in his absence. And again, when the Banu Sulaim heard, they all dispersed as well. They did not stay. So when the Prophet ﷺ reached the Buhran, there were no one there. So the Prophet ﷺ, he stayed there only for 10 days and then he returned. So he returned in the same month, which is Rabi al-Thani. In Rabi al-Awwal, there was an incident where the Prophet ﷺ ordered the assassination of Ka'b bin Ashraf. Ka'b bin Ashraf, when the Muslims won in the Battle of Badr, he made a statement and he said that the chiefs who died in the Battle of Badr, which is from amongst the Quraysh, he says, it is good that they died. Because to live knowing that you are defeated by the Muslim is a life of humiliation. So the better thing was for them to die. And then after the Battle of Badr, he went to Makkah and he sought out all the families who had loved ones that died in the Battle of Badr, and he started to console them. And he started to compose poetry. And he was so good in poetry that whilst composing the poetry and reciting it, he would start to cry. And those who would listen to him, they would eventually start to cry as well. So good of poetry, poet he was. And after he got them attached to him through his poetry, he started to make up poetry about the Prophet ﷺ, for them to have more hatred for the Prophet ﷺ. And before he left, he was from Medina, but he left Medina in order to do this in Makkah. And before he left Makkah, he started to incite other unbelievers that you need to take revenge. You can't let it slide just like that. You need to do something to take revenge for all those lives which was lost. You need to get justice. And before he left, he went by the Kaaba and he invited all the Quraysh leaders. And he said to them that I want every single one of you to take an oath that you're going to take revenge for all those who have died in the Battle of Badr. And all of them took the oath. So he was inciting war against the Prophet ﷺ, and then he returned to Medina. Now, when he returned to Medina, he was not finished. He incited the Makkans. Now he have reached to Medina, and he started to compose more poetry about the Prophet ﷺ. And he also started to taunt the Muslim women as well. So the Prophet ﷺ, right through, since the 4th year after Hijrah, he was doing this. The Prophet ﷺ used to tell the companions, just have patience, have sabr. In the entire second year, the same thing he was doing, the Prophet ﷺ says, have sabr, have patience, just ignore him. But now in the 3rd year, the Prophet ﷺ says, no, we need to take him out. Because he's going to continue with this. He's not going to stop. And what even drove the Prophet ﷺ to say to them, enough of sabr, was that one incident that Ka'b bin Ashraf, he invited the Prophet ﷺ for a meal. And he had hired some assassin to kill the Prophet ﷺ. So he hired them to hide, and when the Prophet ﷺ started to eat, they should come out from behind and kill him. This was his plan. So the Prophet ﷺ did not know anything. He went ahead because he always used to answer to whenever he's invited to go to somewhere. So he went there, and as soon as he sat down, Jibreel alayhi salam came and informed the Prophet ﷺ of the entire plan. That this man has just invited you because he wants you dead. So the Prophet ﷺ got up immediately, and Jibreel alayhi salam took him to safety. He left, and this is when he told the companions, it is time. Because now this individual, all the time he was just doing poetry. But now he has crossed the line, he wants to kill me. And if I do not do something now, then he's going to try another time and another time until he gets through. So the Prophet ﷺ, there's a narration in Sahih al-Bukhari that tells us of the entire incident. The Prophet ﷺ says, which one of you is brave enough to go and kill Ka'b bin Ashraf? And Muhammad bin Maslama, he said to the Prophet ﷺ, are you sure you want him dead? Because this is the first time the Prophet ﷺ is sending out an assassination like that. So Muhammad bin Maslama, after the Prophet ﷺ, says to him, yes, I'm telling you, you could go and finish him off for me. You'll be helping and assisting both Allah and His Messenger because of the amount of harm he's given to the Prophet ﷺ. So Muhammad bin Maslama said to the Prophet ﷺ, permit me to do one thing. That is, allow me to say things to him just to make him feel nice. Even though it might be untrue, even though it might be lies, but I need to at least make him feel good. The Prophet ﷺ says, okay, you are permitted to do that. So Muhammad bin Maslama took a few companions and they went to Ka'b bin Ashraf. They said to him, we are stressed out. We can't take this man no more. Speaking about Muhammad ﷺ. His own companion saying this in front of Ka'b bin Ashraf. This man, he has imposed on us to give charity and zakat, and all our wealth is finished. We are helping this one, we are helping that one, and we don't have any money now. Ka'b bin Ashraf says, just wait a little more, you're going to see this man is going to ruin you. Muhammad is going to ruin you. As long as you continue to remain his companion, you're going to be done with. Then he advised them that why don't you just leave him? Muhammad bin Maslama and the companions, they said, we have already his followers. It will be bad for us just to abandon him like that. We are waiting for the results in the next upcoming battles. So Ka'b bin Ashraf, he's thinking that these people, they're saying in the statement that they want Muhammad ﷺ to lose. But in reality, they were saying, we just want him to win and be triumphant and be able to be victorious in order for us to get back some spoils of war and those kind of things. But he was thinking along that line because he heard that they were stressed out and they can't handle it anymore. So they asked him, lend us some grains, give us some grains on loan. He said, I don't have no problem in giving you that loan, which is a few grains, but you have to lot something as security. Can't just lend you something like that. You need to put something as a form of security. And then the companions asked, what do you want? He said, give me your woman. Put your wives as security. If you put your wives there, I'm going to give you the grains immediately. The companion says, we can't tolerate that. How could we tolerate giving our wives up? And also, you're a handsome man. How could we do that? We have to fear for our lives to leave our wives with you. You have to think something else to take as security. He says, all right, give me your children. Send all your children by me. Let them stay by me, and that will be the security. When you repay the grains, then your children will be allowed to go back with you. He says that is going to be a lifetime of embarrassment. Muhammad bin Maslam, he says that is going to be a lifetime of embarrassment. People are going to taunt our children. They're going to say that their parents pawned them off for a few grains. How are they going to survive and live with that kind of shame? And Muhammad bin Maslama radiallahu anhu, he says to Ka'b bin Ashraf, he says, what if we lodge our weapons for you? You know we love our weapons and they are dear to us. Let us lodge our weapons. And Ka'b bin Ashraf says, yes, that sounds like a good idea, like a good plan. So he tells them to come back in the night. And so when the night came, Muhammad bin Maslama came and he shouted out. And when Ka'b bin Ashraf heard that, he was leaving to come down to reach Muhammad bin Maslama. Ka'b bin Ashraf's wife said to him, where are you going this hour? Where are you leaving to go so late in the night? He says, it's just some business I'm going to take care of. She said, I fear the song of this individual, how he called you, it sung as if blood is dripping from his voice. Don't go there. He says, an honorable man goes whenever he's called. This is business time. You just relax here. I have to do my business. I'm going to deal with that and then I'm going to come back. So he left and he went down. While he was going down, Muhammad bin Maslama had already made a plan amongst the companions. The plan was, whenever he comes, we're going to say that his hair is smelling sweet. His hair had a very good fragrance and we want to smell it. And as soon as I hold him by his head, by his hair and pull back his head, you should take off his neck. This was the plan the companions came up with. So when he came down, Muhammad bin Aslama says, I've never smelled such a fragrance before. How are you smelling so nice? He says, I have the most beautiful woman in Arabia. So definitely I have to smell sweet. So Muhammad bin Maslama asked him, can I have a little smell? Can I come close to your hair and smell it? He's feeling nice. Ka'b bin Ashraf, he's feeling nice that they're talking this about his fragrance and so forth. So he pushed forward his head and Muhammad bin Maslama inhaled some of the fragrance. And so Muhammad bin Maslam, he smelled the fragrance that was emanated from the hair of Ka'b bin Ashraf, and he asked him, allow my companions to also have a scent, to also smell your hair. He allowed, and all the companions, they came and they were smelling and giving him nice talk. And then after all of them finished, Muhammad bin Maslam said, the scent has been removed from my nose. Can I have one more chance to smell your hair? And he says, all right, come on, smell my hair. And when Muhammad bin Maslam came close to smell his hair, he held him, gripped his hair, and pulled back his head. And he told the companions, now is the time. Companions came and they took off his head. And they took his head and carried it in front of the Prophet ﷺ. It was in the morning time, and when they arrived by the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ, when he saw them, he said, your faces show that you have triumphed. Your faces show that you are successful in your mission. And they replied to the Prophet ﷺ, your face looks just like that as well. because the Prophet ﷺ was happy to see that Ka'b bin Ashraf is no more. And then they showed him his head, the head of Ka'b bin Ashraf, and the Prophet ﷺ, he thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for getting rid of Ka'b bin Ashraf. Now in the morning, the Jews, they came to complain that their leader was killed by a Muslim. The Muslim killed their leader. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ka'b bin Ashraf, he's your leader, but he was responsible for so much of misery that he was causing to the Muslims. And he had broken the contract that was signed on the first day that the Prophet ﷺ entered into Medina. Because when he entered into Medina, he made sure he made the Jews sign a contract. And one of the things on the agreement was that no Jew was allowed to taunt or cause any Muslims any hardship or distress. And this is what he was doing all the time. So the Jews, they left without saying anything because they know for a fact the amount of hardship that he was causing and the amount of misery. So some of the reasons why he was killed, one, he was foul-mouthed against the Prophet ﷺ. He used to compose these different type of poetry about the Prophet ﷺ. He used to flirt and taunt the Muslim woman as well. He broke the treaty, which breaking the treaty was a reason of taking his life anyways. He used to instigate violence against the Muslim by going to Makkah and telling them you need to wage war against the Muslim. He also conspired to assassinate the Prophet ﷺ. So all of these were different reasons why the Prophet ﷺ said it is time to kill Ka'b bin Ashraf, and Allah revealed an ayat about him. Allah says, وَلَا تَسْمَعُنَّ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا أَذًى كَثِيرًا. Allah says, certainly you're going to hear from those who were given the book and those who have associated partner, you're going to hear أَذًى كَثِيرًا, a lot of harm, which means a lot of harm coming from their tongue with their different poetries that they're going to say. After Ka'b bin Ashraf, the Prophet ﷺ, he told the companions, any other person were to break the treaty and were to say bad poetry about me, you're allowed to kill them. This was after Ka'b bin Ashraf. So they were given to the companions now. Now, in our time, we can't use this. You know, for example, when there was that cartoon incident and people say they want to kill the person who did the cartoon, and different reasons, even the jihadists, they normally use this to show that the Prophet ﷺ carried out an attack on someone because of him taunting Islam. And if he could allow that, then we are allowed as well to do the same thing. But this was specific for the Prophet ﷺ. It is not a general rule. Because there were many others, even in Makkah, who used to say bad things about the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ did not send out an attack to kill them. The Prophet ﷺ waited, and many of them even accepted Islam. But these individuals, the Prophet ﷺ, he knew from revelation from Allah that they are never going to accept Islam. And they're going to continue with their evil deeds. So this was only between Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for us, we do not know if somebody is going to accept Islam next 10 years from now. So if somebody is doing something at this moment, we can take it in our hands and say, I have to finish him off like how Muhammad bin Maslama finished off Ka'b bin Ashraf. We can't do that because we have no assurance if this individual is going to accept Islam or not. So for our entire life, even if somebody is saying those things or doing bad things about Islam, writing books to degrade Islam, we can't take it in our hands to go and finish them off. That is wrong for us to do. Right? So this is specific to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when he did that, there were two brothers. His name was Huwayis, and his brother was Muhayyis. So Huwayis and Muhayyis, they were brothers. Huwayis was an unbeliever, was Muhayyis, he was a Muslim. And the Muslim was the younger one, whilst the elder one was the unbeliever. So the younger one, when he heard that those who are saying bad poetry about the Prophet should be killed, he went and he killed someone. And the one that he killed was his brother's best friend. His brother's best friend, because his brother was an unbeliever. And he killed him because of his bad poetry against the Prophet ﷺ. So his big brother now, even though he had a lot of love for him, he held him by his neck and he started to beat him. He started to beat his younger brother because of him killing his friend. And he said to him, you have benefited from his wealth and yet you still kill him. Because his big brother was in trade with his friend. So money used to come from that, and definitely would have helped out his younger brother. So he said you benefited from his wealth and then you still went and you killed him. Muhayyis, he says, Wallahi, laqad amrani biqatalihi man law amrani biqatlika la darabtu unukuka. He says, I swear by Allah, the one who commanded me to kill him, if that same one, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, command me to kill you, I am ready to take off your neck as well. So this is the younger brother saying to his elder brother, if Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that I should kill you, I'm ready to do that. When he heard that, he let go immediately. He was shocked to hear that, because even though he was an unbeliever, he had a lot of love for his brother. He knew his brother is a Muslim. He never taunted his brother. He allowed him to be a Muslim. And he had a lot of respect and a lot of love. And now, all of a sudden, his brother is saying to him, I'm ready to kill you if I get that permission to kill you. If Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell me to kill you, I'm ready to do that. He said, Allah, law amraka Muhammad biqatli lataqtalani. He says, I swear by Allah, if Muhammad was to really command you to kill me, will you really kill me? Is that what you're saying? And he says, Naam, wallahi, law amrani bidarbi unukuka la darabtuha. If Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam command me to take off your neck, I'm ready to take off your neck. And when he heard that, he left his brother alone. He left his younger brother, but he was in somewhat shock to know this was the reply. Knowing his brother from young, sharing everything together, you at least know that his brother would never abandon him just like that, ready to kill him. So he says that this thing that this man Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had brought have to be something so strong that could make a brother like that ready to kill me. So he said he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and found out some more about Islam, asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam some more about Islam, and then he accepted Islam. So the elder brother, he also became a Muslim. There's also in the beginning of Jamad al-Akhir, there was the Sariyah of Zayd bin Harith. When after the Battle of Badr, the Makkans were scared to take the route they were normally taking with their caravans. Normally the easier route was the route heading towards Syria. This was where the caravan went when the Muslims wanted to intercept it in the Battle of Badr, because all the places were very easy for them to go through. Now, because after the Battle of Badr, they said, no, what, we're going to stop, take our caravan through that route. So instead of going through to go to Syria, we're going to go to Iraq instead. This is a means of stopping the Muslims from coming to attack our caravan. Abu Sufyan, he had a well-laden caravan, and he took it going to Iraq. And when the Prophet ﷺ heard of that, the Prophet ﷺ also sent out. He sent Zayd bin Haritha with 100 companions. So 100 companions with Zayd bin Haritha, and they went to intercept the caravan. When they reached by the caravan, all those who were around, they escaped, because there were only a few of the unbelievers who were carrying the caravan, and definitely they wouldn't have been able to fight off 100 of the companions. So when they saw that, they all flee. The only one that was remaining was Farrad bin Hayyan. He was taken a prisoner, but before reaching Medina, he accepted Islam, so he was freed afterwards. So they didn't get no fighting took place in that Sariyah, that expedition, but they were able to capture the entire caravan. So the entire caravan was taken by the Muslims. There were 100,000 dirhams in it. The Prophet ﷺ was given 20,000, whilst the 80,000 was shared up amongst the 100 of the companions who went out. Normally 1/5 was always given to the Prophet ﷺ, and then he's going to take that for himself, his family, those who didn't participate, and he'll distribute it accordingly how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed him to distribute it. So with that, inshallah, we have reached up to Jamadi al-Akhir. Inshallah, next week we'll continue on to Jamadi al-Thani, inshallah. The next incident is another assassination that the Prophet ﷺ had sent out. So inshallah, in our next class we will deal with that one and continue inshallah onto other things that took place in the third year after Hijrah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.